someone to tell me, even though maybe it was a little late, but who can tell me the name of the song that we just played there? See if you were paying attention. I know it was close.
Brave.
Oh, I think I heard it somewhere. Brave by Sarah Bareilles. Yes, round of applause. So I'd actually just like to ask all the parents and family members of people with Prader-Willi Syndrome to stand up. Go ahead, stand up. I see a few. And I'd like first to say one thing to all of the parents, especially the parents with young children with Prader-Willi Syndrome. I'd just like to say, don't let anybody tell you that your child can't do something because they have Prader-Willi Syndrome. Don't say that they can't live independently. Don't say that they can't drive a car. Don't say that they can't go to college, because I can tell you, I know people with Prader-Willi Syndrome who've done all of those things. And I'd just like to congratulate you guys for being those brave parents fighting the fight for your children. Congratulations. Now in her song, Sarah, she actually says this line a couple times, and it's right at the beginning. And it's kind of what I want to talk about. She says, say what you want to say. And I really love that. I know Tanya, my wife, tells me sometimes, maybe I'm a little too subtle. I kind of hint at things a little bit. Just say what you want to say. So that's what I'm going to do tonight. I'm just going to lay it out, and I'm going to say what I got to say. And there's three kind of key things that I want to talk about. So the first one, and I don't know if I've really said this before, but I just really want to say that it's not fair. It's not fair for our kids with Prader-Willi Syndrome. It's not fair for our parents, for our family members dealing with Prader-Willi Syndrome. And I'll give you a quick little example. There's a family, Lon and Max. Max is a 20-year-old. He lives in Washington. Lon is his dad, who's done just about everything for his son. Monitored his diet, helped him with his behavior, been there day in and day out. And Max is a great kid. I remember chatting with him. We were down visiting. He talked to you about politics, sports, whatever it is. And earlier this year, just around in January, Max had a breakdown. And I'm not talking about like a behavioral breakdown. He had literally a complete mental breakdown. Had to go to the ER, had to be taken to the psych ward, had to be sequestered in the psych ward where his dad wasn't able to see him and take him home. And his dad was showing videos of Max, who I remember sitting across the dinner table and having an intelligent conversation with. And he was just babbling. Had no idea that his dad, who loved him year after year and helped him, was there trying to communicate with him. He was just disconnected, and it was just heartbreaking. And it's just not fair. I can tell you, it's also a little more closer to home. It's not fair. Sometimes these are small things, but it's not fair that Dante doesn't get invited to as many birthday parties as his brother. I remember, and it's not about the kids at school, because they are amazing. They work so well with them. They're really good kids, but he's got a different relationship with them. And the other day, Denzel was actually heading out, and Dante said, oh, where's Denzel going? I said, oh, he's going to a birthday party. And Dante said, well, why is he going to a birthday party again, and I'm not? It's not fair. And I can tell you, additional stories, but it keeps coming back to that key point, and that's the first thing that I want to say. It's literally just not fair. So that brings me to the second thing that I want to say is really just how proud I am of this community and what this community has been able to accomplish so far. So I'm gonna test maybe the memory of some of our members who've been here for a couple years. Is there anybody here that remembers me talking about something, a drug called MT2? Anybody? Mm-hmm. Got a few people. See, I'm happy at least somebody remembers what I talk about every year. I was afraid that nobody would remember. But I'll tell you the story, because that may jog your memory a little bit. So one of the first researchers that we funded, Dr. Weber's her name, she works at the University of Alberta, she was describing the hunger mechanism for all of us. And she said, for us to stop eating, it kind of works like a car. So there's two controls. So to stop, you actually have to take your foot off the gas, and then you have to put your foot on the brake. And in people with Prader-Willi Syndrome, the brake doesn't work properly. So she actually created these mouse models, which are literally mice with Prader-Willi Syndrome. And then she found this drug. And she gave this drug to the mice, and they stopped eating. And that was one of the first projects that we funded. And it was just amazing to be able to get to that point. So the funny part of the story is there was actually a couple other side effects of this drug. So it also darkened the skin of the mice and increased their sex drive. So yes, if you're looking for a drug that's going to help you lose weight, get a tan, and have more sex, I think we've got something for you. I think that's our next fundraiser. So, unfortunately, this drug never made it through clinical trials on people with PWS, or people in general, but I'm excited to tell you today that now there's another derivative drug. It's developed by a company called Rhythm that works basically on the same approach, that is actually literally in phase 2. If you know drugs, you go through sort of phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. It's in phase 2 clinical trials on people, and we're moving into testing it on people with PWS, and we hope to be able to bring that to Canada very shortly. And it's amazing that we've been able to come. Yes. And I'm going to tell you something that I probably couldn't have said a couple years ago. We always believed that we were going to be able to eliminate some of these challenges. But now, I can actually tell you that I know we are going to be able to do it. Because I'm talking to you about this one drug by Rhythm. There's also another one, a drug by called Beloranib. It's actually in phase 3, which is kind of the last step of clinical trials, and they're testing it in people with Prader-Willi Syndrome right now. And the early results are saying that it's actually helping people reduce their hunger and drop their weight. And that's in the final round of testing right now. And there's also 2 or 3 other ones. And it's amazing that we'd be able to come that far. Yes, round of applause. Yes, thank you. And I'm also proud. How many people here came to the first One Small Step Walk or have been to any of our One Small Step Walks? I'm proud of what you guys have been able to do, because that little walk that was started is now run literally in over 70 cities around the world. And to date, that's raised over $5 million for research. And I can tell you that I'm proud. Where's Manny and Michelle? I see Manny, but I don't see Michelle. She always likes to hide somewhere. But I want to say just how proud I am of you guys, and in terms of what you've been able to accomplish. And I know this gala, we have people here for 9 years. I think this may have actually been the first gala run for research for Prader-Willi Syndrome. And now we actually have galas, running across Canada and in the US. They're running Live Life full galas across the US, New York. I think there's one tomorrow in Chicago. So just congratulations for you guys for what you've been able to do. That's amazing. And I'd also like to say that I'm proud of my little guy, Dante. And some of you know more about this than others, but if I was talking to you probably about a year or year and a half ago, things weren't going as well for him. So he's having more and more behavioral challenges. He was very low on energy, so he would sleep literally in school, an hour or so a day. He couldn't sleep well at night. And these things were just sort of snowballing. He was becoming more and more aware of food, starting to put on weight. But I can tell you now, although we always hear that Prader-Willi Syndrome gets worse and worse and worse, he's actually doing better now. And we think a lot of this is because of some of the diet changes. So we're actually going to start looking into some research in terms of sort of optimizing that. But what I'm proud of, and this is kind of what Manny was talking about, is how hard our children work. And I'm proud of Dante to be able to make those changes. I mean, I can tell you, he makes the most intelligent eating decisions. Probably eats better than literally anybody here today. And whereas before, getting on the bus in the morning was literally the worst part of our day. Because he always had these challenges. He knew he was going to have meltdowns at school. He really hated going there. And it was just such a drain. And now, I can tell you, he gets up, he exercises in the morning, he has his breakfast, he gets ready. And probably now the best part of my day is when he's just about to get on the bus, and he gives me a hug, and he says, "Daddy, today I'm going to have a good day." And it's just unbelievable how proud I am of him making that turnaround. Which is a good time to move to the last thing that I want to talk about, which is really gratitude. I want to actually ask if we have Jeff and the PPA table. If you guys can stand up where they are right here, yes? Stand up, stand up. Yes, I want to tell you guys thank you. So, PPA has been one of the sponsors of the Gala for years. In addition to that, they've been huge supporters of our Brampton Walk on behalf of the Jones family. And the group is not just donating their money as sponsors, but they're actually also donating their time in terms of volunteering, providing advice, organizing, and pretty much just doing whatever they can to help us. So on behalf of the Prader-Willi Syndrome community, thank you guys so much for all of your support. And next, I'd actually like to ask Sean and Kim and the Hori Foundation table. Where are we? Where are we? At the back? Yes, stand up, guys. Yes. No, stay standing. You have to stay standing. So, we actually had the pleasure of meeting Sean and Kim a couple years ago when their daughter Georgia was born with Prader-Willi Syndrome. They came over to our house. We had a great conversation with them. And since then, they've been big supporters of the foundation. They've been out to the galas year after year. So at the end of last year, we got a call, and they invited us over to their house. And we went over to their house, and Sean and Kim, on behalf of the Hori Foundation, presented us with a check for $20,000. And one of the things that I liked the best about that is they took the time and the effort not just to donate the money, but to designate it to a specific area. And what they wanted to focus on is in terms of cognition and learning and education. And it's a great reminder for us that as we're getting closer and closer to eliminating some of the challenges on the hunger side, there's other things like mental health and education that we need to work on. So thank you guys very much for making that happen. And so the last thing that I'd like to do is really just thank everybody here for coming out. And it's kind of a tricky thing to kind of convey to you, what I mean when I say thank you. Because we say it a lot. It's like, thank you for holding the door open. Thank you for passing the salt. And that's not what I mean. So I was trying to figure out how to tell you that, what I mean. And probably the best way that I can articulate it is really just to say, because of what you guys have done over the years, we know that we're getting closer to eliminating these challenges. So thank you very much for giving us a chance to eliminate these challenges of Prader-Willi Syndrome. And maybe more personally, thank you very much for giving Dante a chance to say, today, I'm going to have a good day. Thank you very much. Have a good night.